Hello, Lorcana YouTube community and all my fellow Sapphire Steel enjoyers. It's finally time for some Set 9 Sapphire Steel gameplay. I have this awesome match that me and my friend Anthony, aka Birdie, were able to record. He invited me over to his setup and we got a lot of games down, but this match stuck out the most. And it's going to be me using my updated version of my anti-meta Sapphire Steel list versus an Amethyst Steel list. That deck right now is super strong because it has all the evasive cards the Amethyst has, and then all the strong steel tools as well. So it's going to be an awesome match, and as the match goes on, I will be going over the changes I made to the list, how I view the matchup, and what exactly Sapphire Steel needs to do in order to win that matchup. But before we get into the gameplay, I do want to show you guys that I actually just released my first Set 9 Sapphire Steel guide. I had a lot of people reach out to me as far as what kind of guide to write. And honestly, with this approach, there were so many people who had different questions on like why would you want to play Sapphire Steel? What are the strengths and weaknesses in Sapphire Steel? And even if they decide to play Sapphire Steel, how to build it, how to pilot it, how to mulligan, how to do the lines, how are the matchups. So in this guide, it's actually over 20 pages. I went into full detail about the strength, weaknesses, why you would want to play Sapphire Steel, mulligans, lines of play. I even have a matchup guide for the top 5 decks right now, and it's just so much Sapphire Steel content. And honestly, if you already play Sapphire Steel, this is just a nice way to refine your skills. There's so much data that's in this guide. I have been testing Sapphire Steel Set 9 for the past 6+ weeks, so all that information is in here. And again, I do have videos in there as well. I explain everything there is to know with Sapphire Steel, and I do use this Sapphire Steel list as a reference, plus a Scar ally build as well. And if you do want to purchase the guide, it is available on my Patreon store for $10. Or you can sign up to be a member as a tier 2 member and you get access to all my guides plus videos and all the other paywall access there as well. And again, on my Patreon, not only do I upload guides, I have podcasts on there, I have gameplays, I update my list before going out to other social medias on here. So my Patreon's a nice way if you want to check out more exclusive Sapphire Steel content or just support me outside of YouTube. But the guide is available on there for $10, or again, you can sign up to be a tier 2 supporter and you get access to all my content. I do want to give a huge shout out to all my Patreon members. Thank you guys so much. And for those who have already purchased the guide, if you want to purchase it or check out my Patreon, I will have the link down in the description below, plus a link to my Discord select few community. Hop in there, guys. It's so much awesome vibes, awesome energy, so many cool people. The community is growing every day, and we just don't talk about Sapphire Steel or Lorcana. There's a bunch of different conversations going on in there. So thank you to everyone, and let's hop into the video. Alright, time for the gameplay, but just before we start, if you guys haven't subscribed already, please go ahead and hit that sub button, leave a like, and drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys thought of this awesome match that we have here. So, I will be using, again, this anti-meta Sapphire and Steel list. I updated it from last week. I added Lilo in there, added a couple of different cards, messed around with the ratios that I'll get into as the video goes on. But yeah, shout out to my homie, Anthony, aka Birdie. He is using Amethyst Steel, and he has this awesome setup, and we actually were able to record a bunch of games. I faced against Blurple, Amber Steel, Amethyst Steel. This match though was my favorite out of all of them, so I will be going on the play against him. And as Sapphire Steel, when you're on the play, or kind of like any deck in general, you should just always win on the play. As long as your deck is built correctly, you should always be winning on the play, since you're able to make the first move. So here, as you can see, I go turn 1 Mulan. I see Mulan right now being in a lot of steel builds. Discard stonks have gone up. Just being able to filter through your deck and get rid of uninkables. If you do notice in this list, I am playing 15 uninkables, but because I'm on Mulan, Tipo, Namari, I'm actually able to get away with that high unink count. So now we see here they have a pretty much standard turn 1 play. This is where 3 copies of the Fire of the Cannons is just super nice in this meta, being able to target illusion characters and get rid of powerful shift lines or turn 1 plays like Aurora, Baby Rhino, and get rid of, again, illusion characters. So here I decided to go Tipo, and now I set up Kita. So Kita actually made its way into the deck. It's a very nice turn 3 play against Blurple, since it cannot be Elsa tapped and you're able to ramp with her and at least filter out. So now, as you can see here, how steel decks go, you usually just go wide enough and see who makes the first move. So here I decide to empty out my hand, which I don't like to do. There's probably a different line of play that I could have done, but I'm able to set up a Strength of the Raging Fire Fire to slow down or prevent his Strength of the Raging Fire. And now I set up this nice little filtering combo that Namari and Kita get to have. You get to look at the top card with Kita, and in the following turn decide if you want to discard it with the Namari. So super nice little play there. And it's actually nice that I was able to clear his board because I know he can't get rid of the Kita the following turn. So I know this Kita is definitely going to get me value. It allowed me to sing and then ramp and find a card. But now this is the part where you're kind of, if you go back to turn one, did we need to play that turn one Mulan? There's a lot of instances when you're on the play as Sapphire Steel where you don't have to play a turn one drop because you're gonna neg a card from your hand. And because I played that one drop, now this Namari had to skip a turn, and that's something that you need to consider. So here he's kind of just now doing his Amethyst Steel stuff, playing the genies, drawing cards. And in this spot, I believe I just drew two very weak cards. I did draw that Bianca, but in this spot of the game, or if you're not supporting Bianca with three other characters, I'm kind of in an awkward spot. Having this low hand size was again because I decided to play that Mulan turn one, and when you're on the play, you don't necessarily ever have to unless your hand was full of uninkables. In that scenario, I didn't have any uninkables because I trashed a Tipo. So you always want to wait the following turn. You only get punished if they go like turn one Daisy or something like that. But for the most part, you can always sail plus one drop as well. Just I had Tipo in my hand, and again you can see how I got punished because my Namari ended up not being able to filter correctly. So as the game progressed, I was able to remove his board. Through the Vince effect, through the ping damages that were left on the board. I actually like this about Vince, and in this deck in particular, you force your opponent to do a lot of 2-for-1 trades or trades in general, and that just allows cards like Vince to be live. So now here in the mid game, I still have, I think, a dead card in my hand. I think, there you go, I drew a cell, and here he set up very nice. He has a Jasmine to be able to contest my Vince or my Bianca. He has a Dumbo that's live, so his draw engine is live, and I have yet to find a draw engine of mine, a Beyond the Horizon or a Dock. So here he's just assigned to go wide, and he has the resources for it. He basically just out-resourced me. He got to his better cards, and even though I was on the play and I said, hey, you're supposed to win on the play, just unfortunately, I think that turn one misplay by having to play that Mulan, especially not having any uninkables, was just a bad move on my end. It's still kind of fine though because I did have the Namari and I was like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna be able to filter. I'm gonna be able to find a Dock, but I just did not find anything. So I did find a Beyond Horizon off that Rama Hood, and I was able to sing it with Vince. I refilled my hand, didn't refill his hand, but at this point of the game, he already has 9 lore. He has 4 characters on board, and I did have to take a turn off to sing. It looks like I'm in a good spot because I have a 3 stat line, a 2-8 stat line character plus a Robin Hood and that Bianca, but he just has so many characters on the board. The Jasmine can easily just discard 1 card, or he can just sing Strength like that to remove something. So just with ease right there, he was able to. He discarded a card for the Jasmine, and the Cobra and the Jasmine got to live, knocked out my Vince, and then he still got to play a Dock and draw more cards. So super insane on his end, and at this point I just fell way too far behind, and that pretty much the first 4 turns of mine were just very strong. It's just that I ran out of gas, and you cannot run out of gas in this meta or with this deck in particular, especially when you're going against other steel decks that play Dock as well. It usually comes down to like who sees their Dock first, who has multiple Docks. And unfortunately, even though I had a very strong setup with that Strength of the Raging Fire, that Amari had to skip 1 turn of filtering. And if you do recall, I had to discard the Robin Hood that I would have drawn off the Namari. So if I would have kept that 1 card in my hand, that Mulan, I would have been able to at least keep filtering with the Namari and not have it just stun there. But it did take me a while to find that Beyond the Horizon. Didn't find a Dock, so I ran out of gas, and he was able to take game 1. Because he just eventually got there. So now I'm back on the play again, and for Amethyst Steel or Steel decks in general, again, you want to see a 1-drop, but paired with Sail. If you're on blind, right? Now that I'm realizing I'm going against Amethyst Steel, obviously we're playing like if it was blind. Now you're definitely more inclined to know like, oh, okay, I know what I want to play. So here, as you can see, I just decide to ink and then pass turn, I believe. I don't even know if I have a 1-drop. Yeah, I don't even think I had a 1-drop. There is the Fire the Cannons there. Super nice to have in this matchup. You're able to, knock out their illusion characters, stuff like that. and I do have the sell. So this is going to be super nice to be able to sell. And then some people might not fire the cannon to Diablo here, but it's going to be stuck in my hand, and it's not going to be able to be played on curve for the next 2 turns if I go 4 ink, 5 ink. So I go ahead and just play that fire the cannons on Diablo, remove it, and now I get to establish a 5/5 stat line character. So the reasons why I like this 5/5 stat line, not only for this matchup, but it's just so good into all the other Amber Steel. It's good into Blue Green Cow. It's good into Blurple. Just that 5/5 stat line is just insane. Being able to contest the board and have characters on your opponents and have to 2-for-1 trade you. To beat Amethyst Steel, you have to go wide like them and play stronger characters, because then they have to 2-for-1 trade you. So here I do establish the Namari, and then the following turn he kind of goes wide. Fortunately for me though, he couldn't play that Fire the Cannons. He couldn't play a Strength because he had to go like I think Hook, Palace Guard, Madam M Skater, so he didn't have a Strength. And then here I got to filter with the Namari. I got to play a Hook. I'm using my ink efficiently, and I was able to Strength of the Raging Fire and fire the cannons 2 of his cards. So just a nice huge tempo swing on my end. And like how I said here, you are able to go, if you are able to go wide against these steel decks and prevent their Strength of the Raging Fires to be played, then you should be in a good spot. But for the most part, you could ignore their genies in the early game, as long as they can't use Strength of the Raging Fire. Compared to Amber Steel, you're able to challenge all their characters, but Amethyst Steel, some of them are evasive, so that's where things can get a little tricky. But now we're already in the mid game. There, I do discard a Lilo. That is a proxy for the set 9 Lilo. I forgot to get my 2 copies in the mail, so I had to proxy those. So here, as you can see, I'm kind of just going gas. Going all out. I was able to visions for the future and find that dog, play the Hook, and then I believe that's a happy. So I really do love the inclusion of Vision of the Future in the Sapphire Steel build or the Sapphire Shells, just because of the lack of draw power. Being able to look at the top 5 cards of your deck and then find exactly what you need in a specific given moment is just crazy, right? I was able to either find a dog, you can find a Hades, you can find a removal card, so many different cards that you can find with Visions of the Future. So going back to the game here, as you can see, I pretty much just went wide. So even if he does decide to remove my big characters, I'm always gonna have characters on my board to challenge his guys. So here he plays an Elsa, doesn't even know what to remove. Looks like he taps the Happy, attacks with the Elsa. And then now it's all about who sees Strength of the Raging Fire. And unfortunately for me, he hasn't seen his, so he couldn't really get rid of one. I do have that Namari still going, so that Namari is just on the board, gaining me so much value. Definitely reminds me of Sad Beast in the past days. So here I'm able to just what do I do here? I think I hardcast the Strength. Yeah, I think I have a 7-drop in my hand, so I got rid of the Namari, hardcasted the Strength to remove the Genie. And now here you kind of need to start questing, even though my characters are pretty weak. You just need to start questing, right? Because you need to be able to close out the game just in case things get out of hand. You don't want to be too far behind in lore. And Namari, just one of the best Sapphire Steel cards right now outside of Scar. Obviously, into Burple, if you play it early on, if you don't have a lot of cards in your discard, it's not going to be that good because they can Elsa tap Namari, trade into it with their 1-drop, and their Elsa gets to live and something like that. But outside of Blurple, or Namari in the early game, is just super good because you're able to filter, find your card, and then her stat line just gets crazy. Like right now, she's like at 13 attack or something like that. So she's able to challenge to any characters. She's able to do so many things. So I Visions, again, not sure what I found. Probably found like a removal or a strong character. And that Bianca coming out for 4 instead of 6 because I have an ally on the board is super nice. I know some people think that Bianca is kind of awkward at times, but her having that 5/5 stat line being inkable, it's just super strong. She's able to survive trades and then survive her own strength, or people can't strength her, and then you have a singer on board. So here, Anthony Birdie was finally able to establish a Dumbo on the board. I still have one card in my hand, but the Namari is still live, and he has yet to find a Strength of the Raging Fire. At this point, I'm just filtering through my cards. I already have what I need to win the game. I'm just going more wide, as you can see here. And at this point, you just turn everything sideways. I should have probably quested with that Hook, but I mean, you can still kind of play it safe. And now, as you can see here, I'm not really doing anything too crazy as far as Sapphire Steel. Like that Namari just allowing me to draw so many cards. It's filtering, and I'm just establishing big bodies on the board that he just can't trade into efficiently. So his Dumbo there is able to get a draw. He is able to have something live there, especially with the Elsa as well. That's 2 evasive characters. Super strong draw engine there. At this point, he needs to just remove my characters on the board now. So there he does take out a Bianca. But that Amari like needs to go. I need to stop being able to stay in the game. So here it looks like he passed his turn, still can't do anything, and he still hasn't found like a Strength of the Raging Fire or something like that. But even then, he didn't have enough characters for that. So it looks like I empty my hand, go into a dock, go into Robin Hood, draw into a dock, empty out my hand, and I just drew 3 cards that turn. And here you just go everything sideways just because I was able to establish 3 lore on board. And at this point, no matter what he does, he's just too far behind. I was able to have all the gas this game. He was more on the defense, and he just didn't find his removal on time in order to stop me because that Namari got so much value. And I really do love the inclusion of Robin Hood. It's basically our own pseudo genie that we can play. You're able to draw a card and then contest 4 willpower characters, and if an Elsa or something like that attacks into it, that makes your Vince live. So there, I'm able to take the play. I'm able to take the win on the play, and now we're going to game 3. So that's pretty much how Sapphire Steel is supposed to go. As you can see, they're holding that 1 card. Not having to play a 1-drop keeps that Namari filter going. So I'm glad I was able to learn from my mistake the first game. And then we do into that Fire the Cannon as well to slow him down with board presence. So you want to value on the now on the draw, you want to value always a 1-drop, since you're going to have an extra card in your hand and you're able to play that 1-drop and contest the board. You're looking to open up a 1-drop, a Fire the Cannons, always your ramp in any Sapphire Steel mulligan, and have a strong turn 3 with a 5/5 stat line character to be able to fight the board. So there, I ink a ramp and I have Hook. That means I have another one. So Hook, very awesome. I'm able to remove Calhoun's. I'm able to remove any 3 willpower character. So this is a nice play on his end. He's able to go wide here, and that's fine. I'm actually able to go wide back, or not go wide, but go character for character. That's something really important in scenarios like this, where if you do sell, you want to have a 1-drop to support that, or you want to have Tipo to fight the board, especially to remove these Diablos and stuff like that. So that's why I really do like Tipo in this meta. So there he gives Jafar, basically pseudo crab, crashes into my Hook and removes it and draws a card. So here, there's actually an interesting play that a lot of people might not expect. I inked the Kita, and again, that is a set 9 proxy for the Lilo. And the reason why I set up the Kita, the reason why I inked the Kita and I play the Lilo instead is because you want to be able to remove characters on their board and weaken their Strength of the Raging Fire plays. So I'm able to play that Lilo, boost up the Tipo. Tipo's able to swing into his Hook, and now I remove the character on his board, and here he has to decide if he wants to trade into my Tipo, because if not, I mean, my Lilo would just trade into his Jafar, and then at that point we'd have Namari versus Genie. And he wanted to leave his characters on the board because he knows he needs to set up Strength of the Raging Fire. So there, as you can see, I sing Strength to remove his Jafar, and I get to leave my body on the board. There's a world where maybe I could have just crashed, or no, he didn't leave it exerted. So yeah, him not attacking the Tipo there definitely was a mistake on his end, because that allowed me to set up a Strength of the Raging Fire play. I think I still would have been able to do it because I had 2 characters, but yeah, I just removed his guy. So now here he plays a Cobra, and you can see here, this is where Sapphire Steel starts to do what Steel decks do, right? Like, they always have Amber Steel, Amethyst Steel always has Doc. Well, guess what? Sapphire Steel can always have Doc too. And once you set that up with Namara, you have this very awesome filtering going on here. So here he goes ahead and taps into the taps my Namari. He doesn't want the same mistake from the last game where that card just stood there, and he decides to take it out right now, especially since I have a low cards in my hand. But you can see the power there, right? You're able to contest their board, go character for character. You stop them with Strength of the Raging Fire. You go with your Namari and Doc, and now after my Vince is live, that ping damage that was just left on his character, Vince was finally able to clean up. So he plays Namari and Hook. I top deck, I think it's Scrooge. I think I already had that Doc or something like that, and I'm able to just deploy those 2 characters the same turn and still draw 2 cards in my hand. And here you just have to just start going sideways. Even if that Jasmine could potentially take out my Vince, he has to commit a lot of resources to do it. So now that I turn the corner, I'm just going to start questing out, especially since I'm going wide. So it looks like he discards a card to remove the Vince, and he has a Doc in his hand. So very nice play on his end, and he gets to set up a Dumbo. So just when you thought it was over, it's not over, right? Because he got to set up. The lore's not that crazy. I have 3 weak guys with the Scrooge. But with the late game that Sapphire and Steel has, just look how that look how that Mulan comes in clutch. That Mulan allowed me to draw a Strength of the Raging Fire. I was able to sing the Strength of the Raging Fire to get rid of his Dumbo. and then he applies back with another dog and another one hook to contest the board. But now here, as you can see, I'm going a little bit more wider than he is. We're basically going resource for resource, but since I was able to contest his board earlier on, it's just not that threatening. So here, he is able to remove some stuff, but at this point in the game, he needs to have like another dog here to keep applying the pressure. I do have, again, 3 weak characters. Like it's a bunch of weenies, but they can quest out, right? And they're just gaining lore every turn. He plays a Cobra there to try to contest a board that can knock out my Robin Hood. But as you can see there, I top deck a Hades, or I think I top decked it. Instantly remove his Cobra, and that's pretty much just gonna be checkmate. And as you can see on the draw, if you're able to go character for character and have that draw engine set up, I saw my dogs, he saw his dogs. I just had the stronger removal, and that's pretty much how the game breaks down. So if you guys did enjoy the video, please go ahead, leave a like, drop a comment down below, let me know what you guys thought of the match, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And again, I do have this awesome Sapphire Steel Set 9 guide. I do recommend checking it out. Just for $10, you have access to all this Sapphire Steel content. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see y'all next time.